Democracy. Power in a democracy comes from the people who live in the country. Citizens vote for leaders or vote on laws depending on the system. This idea started in ancient Greece in a city called Athens, where free men gathered in public spaces to make decisions. Today, democracy is used in countries like the United States, South Africa, India, Germany, and many countries in Europe. The main idea is simple. Leaders stay in power only if the people agree through elections. It also means governments can change without violence, which is one of the biggest reasons this system is widely used today. Republic. A republic is a system where the country is treated as a public matter, not the property of a ruler. People elect representatives to make decisions for them. These leaders usually follow a constitution that limits their power. This system developed strongly in ancient Rome and is now used in countries like France, the United States, Brazil, and Italy. It focuses on laws, elections, and representation instead of one permanent ruler. In most modern republics, power is divided to avoid any one person becoming too strong. Monarchy. A monarchy is ruled by a king, queen, or emperor, usually through family inheritance. In the past, monarchs had full control over countries like France, England, and Russia. Today, many monarchies still exist but are constitutional, meaning the monarch has limited power. Examples include the United Kingdom, Sweden, Japan, and Spain. In countries like the UK, the king or queen is mostly a symbol of national identity, while elected leaders handle real political decisions. This system survives because of tradition, culture, and history. Dictatorship. A dictatorship is a system where one person has almost complete control over a country. This leader is not chosen through free elections. Instead, they often take power through force, revolution, or political instability. Countries like North Korea under Kim Jong-un and historically Germany under Adolf Hitler are examples. In dictatorships, opposition is often restricted, and the government controls information to maintain power. This can create stability in some cases, but it usually comes at the cost of personal freedom and political choice. Oligarchy. An oligarchy is when a small group of people controls the country. These people are often wealthy, powerful families, military leaders, or political elites. Instead of one ruler, power is shared among a few individuals who make major decisions. Historical examples include ancient Sparta and Greece. In modern discussions, countries like Russia are sometimes described as having oligarchic influence due to powerful business elites. The key idea is that real control is held by a very small group, not the general population. Theocracy. A theocracy is a government where religion and politics are connected. Religious leaders or religious laws guide the country. One example is Iran, where Islamic law plays a major role in government decisions. Another example is Vatican City, led by the Pope. In a theocracy, laws are often based on sacred texts and religious teachings. This means political decisions are also seen as spiritual decisions, which deeply affects everyday life, culture, and legal systems. Communism. Communism is a system where property and resources are shared, and there is no class system. The idea became widely known through Karl Marx in the 1800s. Countries like the former Soviet Union and modern China have used forms of communism. In practice, the government usually controls the economy and major industries. The goal is equality, where everyone has the same access to resources, although real-world systems often require strong central control to function. Socialism. Socialism is a system where the government plays a major role in providing services and reducing inequality. It developed in Europe during the Industrial Revolution when workers faced harsh conditions. Countries like Sweden, Norway, and Denmark use strong socialist policies alongside democracy. The government helps provide healthcare, education, and welfare, while private businesses still exist. The goal is to create a balance where basic needs are supported for everyone. Capitalism. Capitalism is a system where private individuals and companies own businesses and compete for profit. The government has less control over the economy, and markets decide prices, jobs, and production. Countries like the United States, United Kingdom, South Africa, and Australia use capitalist systems. This system encourages competition, innovation, and personal success, but it can also create inequality between rich and poor. Authoritarianism. Authoritarianism is a system where power is controlled by one leader or a small group, and political freedoms are limited. Countries like Belarus under Alexander Lukashenko are often described this way. Elections may exist, but they are usually not fully free or fair. The government focuses on maintaining order and stability, sometimes restricting speech, media, and political opposition to keep control. Totalitarianism. Totalitarianism is an extreme form of government control where the state influences influences almost every part of life. This includes politics, education, media, and even personal beliefs. Historical examples include Nazi Germany and Stalin's Soviet Union. In this system, the government not only controls actions, but also tries to control how people think. Opposition is not allowed, and propaganda is often widely used. Federalism. Federalism is a system where power is shared between a central government and regional governments. Countries like the United States, Germany, India, Brazil, and South Africa use this system. Each region can make some of its own laws while still being part of one country. This helps manage large populations and different cultures by giving local areas some independence. Absolute monarchy. An absolute monarchy is where a king or queen has full control over the country without limits from a constitution. An example today is Saudi Arabia. Historically, France under King Louis XIV is a famous example. The ruler makes all major decisions, including laws, government structure, and military actions. Power is completely centralized in one person or family. Constitutional monarchy. A constitutional monarchy is where a king or queen exists but has limited power under a constitution. Countries like the United Kingdom, Sweden, Japan, and Spain use this system. The monarch is mostly symbolic, representing tradition and national identity, while elected governments handle real political decisions and laws. Anarchy. Anarchy is when there is no central government or official leader in control. Instead, people organize themselves through communities or informal agreements. While it is often linked with chaos, the idea is actually about complete freedom from authority. In practice, large societies rarely function this way for long because some level of structure is usually needed. Meritocracy. Meritocracy is a system where people gain success or leadership based on skill, ability, and effort rather than family background or wealth. While no country is fully meritocratic, places like Singapore are often seen as closer to this idea because education and performance play a big role in opportunities. The goal is to reward talent and hard work over privilege. Technocracy. Technocracy is a system where experts such as scientists, engineers, and economists make important decisions instead of traditional politicians. The idea is that trained professionals can make more logical and data-driven choices. While no full technocracy exists today, many governments use expert advisors for complex issues like economics and technology. Feudalism. Feudalism was a system used in medieval Europe, especially in countries like England and France. Kings owned all the land and gave portions to nobles, who then allowed peasants to work it in exchange for protection. Society was strictly divided by class, and movement between classes was very limited. Loyalty was based on land and service. Tribal system. A tribal system is one of the oldest forms of social organization and still exists in parts of Africa, the Middle East, and indigenous regions in North America and Australia. Groups are led by chiefs or elders, and decisions are made through tradition and community agreement. It focuses on family ties, survival, and shared identity rather than formal government structures.